Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and welcome to Real Crime with Raven. Today we are looking at the Oslo hotel shooting, where a woman lost her life, but did she take her own life or was she shot? So, I'm the Midnight Raven. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this true crime story. This is a cold case, and we're going to get right into it. So, when staying in a hotel in Norway, you have to produce your passport details when you check in. The high-end Plaza Hotel in central Oslo is no exception. You have to provide your passport details no matter who you are and no matter what hotel you stay in Norway. A woman and a man would arrive at the hotel on this day one evening in May 1995. The pair gave their names as Jennifer and Louis Fairgate and wrote Belgium for their nationality on the check-in form. The receptionist gave them a room key, but for whatever reason at that time didn't take their passport details. There's no reason for this. They give no reason for not taking it, but they were granted their room key and they would go off to their room. 3 days later, the police would enter the Paris hotel and would find the woman laying face upwards on the bed with a single gunshot wound to her forehead. The man was nowhere to be seen. The room itself was virtually empty, although a few belongings of the woman did remain. The man who had come to the hotel with her didn't seem to have been in the room. There was no sign of him and none of his belongings were still there. The one suspicious thing was that both of their passports had gone as well. The police couldn't find Jennifer Fairgate had ever existed. In the room there was no details of her, no passport, no driving license, no documents, and they could find nothing to suggest that Jennifer Fairgate had ever existed. The police would rule her death as suicide, but there were confusing elements to this case, which we're now going to go through. So, we're going to backtrack before they came to the hotel. So, 9 days before this couple arrived at the a woman called the hotel to make a booking. The same woman that they had found laying on the bed dead 9 days later. A week later, the woman then called the hotel again to amend their booking while she was speaking in German. A weird thing, but you know. So the booking was then changed, and she then said she was arriving later that day and needed a room for 2 people, her and her friend / male accomplice. So the hotel amended their booking and they would arrive, as you will have well known, at the hotel and they checked in. This was on a Wednesday. So they checked into the hotel on the Wednesday and very little is known of their movements, although we do have fractions of when they left the room based on when they used their hotel key, because every time you enter a hotel room, it would activate the key telling them you'd entered the room or activate the key to tell them you'd left the room. So they had movements within the room but couldn't tell you who left the room or who gained the room. So what we do know is that someone left the room the next morning. So they arrived on the Wednesday and someone had left that morning the next day. After that, on Thursday, house cleaner had cleaned the room on the Thursday after someone had left the room. So they'd left the room around midday. Housekeeping had cleaned the room. And then on Friday, the room key was then used again. An employee said a woman at that point had entered the room and had put a do not disturb sign on the door. Nothing suspicious about that. People come and go from rooms and you can put a do not disturb on there if you wish to take a nap, or maybe you're doing a business meeting and you don't want to be disturbed. It's practice for couples maybe having that kind of relationship where they don't want to be disturbed. So, moving on from that, room service took a meal to them or to her or to him on Friday night around 8 p.m. They received a 50 kroner tip, And by Saturday, a supervisor was drawn to the attention of the room as the credit card they had given at reception had now gone over its credit limit. What with the room service and the room charges, they were now needing to pay a more expensive bill. So, instead of the supervisor bothering the guests in the room, what they do is they project a thing onto the telly saying that they have exceeded their bill limit and that they need to come to reception to rectify and pay their bill. They put this on the room apparently, and no one answered, no one phoned down to reception, and no one arrived at reception. They gave it a while and then decided that maybe they should go up there and speak to them in person. So a security guard was sent to the room to check on everybody and to make sure that the woman or man in there knew that they needed to pay their bill. So the security guard went to the room and knocked on the door. Didn't hear a response, but then he heard a gunshot. A single gunshot was heard by the security guard, who then rushed to reception to call the police. Security went back to the room, and within minutes he'd used a master key card to open the door. Between the time of him leaving the room, hearing the gunshot, and coming back to the room was 15 minutes or thereabouts. He used the master key to enter the room, and on entering the room, found the young woman lying face up on the bed with a gunshot wound to her head and a pistol laying on her chest. The woman was dressed in black silk pajamas and was wearing black heels. The gun was a Browning 9mm pistol manufactured in Belgium, and the pistol was laying on her chest, which did seem kind of weird for a woman who had just shot herself in the forehead, supposedly, and then had laid the gun on her chest. So, the other things that were found in the room was a briefcase. Now, this briefcase was kind of suspicious, where the only contents really was 25 live gunshot rounds. Why would a woman who was taking her own life need 25 rounds? It does seem excessive, does it not? The police thought so as well. So, after finding the briefcase and the 25 live rounds, they discovered that a gun had been fired in that room, not once, but twice. The first one was what they call a fake shot. It was a fake shot into a pillow to test maybe how effective the gun was before taking her own life. The second shot had shot her in the forehead, killing her. So many rounds to take one's life. Seems excessive, does it not, to have 25 live rounds and only needing 2. One as a practice shot on a pillow and one to shoot herself. So, many questions are around and circling this case. Question number 1 would be, why so many rounds to take your own life? Second case would be, who was the woman? Was her name really Jennifer Fairgate, as they couldn't find that she existed? Had she taken her own life, or had the gentleman that she was with taken her life for her? Did they have a disagreement and a gun battle had ensued and she was shot? Had she taken her own life? A lot needs to be answered in this case. The other question would be, if she had shot herself, why? Many questions are unanswered, and to find out the reason she shot herself, or if she was shot, you need to wait until part 2. I'm sorry to do it to you, but I have to make this one a 2-part because there is just so much to this case. Where's the man? Why is she dead? Who is this woman? No documents, no nothing. 25 live rounds to take your own life. A mystery man. Movements in and out of the hotel that no one can really account for apart from a key card being used, and a do not disturb sign on a door, later hearing a gunshot wound where a woman is dead. A 15-minute gap between when the security guard heard the fact that there was a shot and coming back to the room gave maybe the man a chance to leave or somebody else to leave the room, meaning she may or may not have took her own life. and it gave a window for someone to escape. You shall find out in the next part of this case, and this is the Oslo shooting case, or the Oslo hotel shooting case, and you need to check out part 2 to find out what happened to the woman and all the whys, ifs and hows. And I will see you very soon for another video. Take care and thanks for watching. Part 2 coming soon. Bye guys.